Okay, just put the camera back on. Let me see. Okay. I think this camera is a little bit on. Okay, hello everyone.
Hello.
Let's just see. Okay, I've got Pharaoh and Christina. Okay, welcome to the psychology tutorial. Hope you guys are going to enjoy this tutorial. It's a very fun learning about the brain and the behavior. So with brain and behavior, we're looking at why people think, feel, and act the way they do. And we examine behavior according to your environmental impact and your biological and psychological. But I'll go into further detail about that later. I just want to know what I'm doing. So maybe, Christina, can you go first? Just maybe, can you hear me?
Yes.
You guys hear me? Okay, Jason. Okay, can you hear me? Christina, can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear us? Can you just give a thumbs up if you can hear me?
Hello, yes.
Okay. Okay, we're just going to try and fix the problem for you quickly.
Can you hear us? Is there any sort of sound that you can hear from?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so Bruce is also there. Just give us a thumbs up if you can hear us. Then we can get started. Okay, perfect. Okay, so we're looking at brain behavior. So we're going to look at the different lobes of the brain and how that affects our behavior and the way we think, feel, and act. So before I start, I just want to get to know who I'm speaking to. So maybe you can just tell us a bit about yourself and why you decided to study psychology and where do you see you. Can I start in Worcester maybe? Okay. Maybe unmute your microphone and then introduce yourself. You can type on the side as well also. Okay. Yeah, there's no pressure. Okay.
Hi, I'm Nadine.
Okay. I think this is a problem with sound at Destiny, right? So I think I'll just continue. But you can hear me.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I see. Okay. What are some of the goals of psychology? What is it that psychology wants to obtain in people? Like, what is the goal of psychology? You guys can maybe just type on the side. Okay, it's a problem with sound in Booster. Just perhaps turn the microphone off and then turn it back on again. Okay, so I'm gonna start on I'm going to use a slide presentation, and then you guys can just follow on the slide presentation. And then we'll just talk a bit about the assignment. What should you want to... Actually, let me first introduce myself. My name is Celeste. I'll be your tutor for this term on this module. I'm currently studying my master's in psychology now. I did honors last year, and I'd like to go into trauma counseling in the future. That is my goal. Ramon?
My name is Ramon. I'm currently doing my master's in theology, and I'd like to go into pastoral ministry type of thing, sort of. We'll see where that leads. But for now, we'll be your tutors. Just to clarify that the role of our roles as tutors aren't the same as your lectures, where the lecturers sort of give information and tell you what these things are about. The tutorial is more about us interacting and you asking questions, and for us to give you a more detailed explanation of things that you perhaps don't understand, and for us to discuss things together as a group, as a class. So that's the main function of these tutorials. And for us also to help you where your assignments and things are concerned. So yeah, that's gonna be us for the next, I don't know, 6 weeks or
6 weeks, yeah.
6 tutorials actually. And we hope that you have a good time with us.
Okay. So if there are any questions about the assignment other than what I'm telling you guys today, I'm going to put my email address in the group chat. So if there are any questions, and Ramon's as well. So if there are any questions, then you can just pop us an email. Okay, I've put my email address. So you guys can just take that down. Okay. Okay, so thus far your lecturer has told me that you guys have covered 2 units. So we're gonna recap it and then just have a discussion on it. So you guys can just follow on the slide presentation I'm gonna put up. Okay, there's my email address again, whoever didn't get it. Okay, so I've asked a question, what are the goals of psychology? Here's just a few goals. Describe how people behave, understand what causes these behaviors, predict how people will behave under circumstances, influence behavior through the control of its causes. Okay, so in your 2 units, you would have covered the nervous system. So in our nervous system, we have billions of cells, nerve cells, and they are called neurons. And this picture here at the bottom is just of a neuron and its different parts. So my question is, what is the role, what is the purpose of a neuron? And you guys can just type it on the side. I'm going to type the question there as well for those who don't have sound. I'll just give you guys 2 minutes. It doesn't matter if your answer is right or wrong. Any answer is okay. Okay, you can type it in the group chat. I'll just give you a minute. Like, what's the job? What's the job of these nerve cells in your body? What are they supposed to do? What is their purpose? Okay, I see one answer. Thank you from Worcester. The function is to transmit a signal at a very fast rate. Yes, that's correct. Thank you for your input. Destiny Life, do you have anything to add to that? Okay, I'll go through the answers. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, to transmit information throughout the body, there are 3 different types of neurons. So the sensory neurons send information from the sensory receptors, which is your eye and your nose, and sends these messages to the brain. Motor neurons transmit information from the brain to the muscles of the body, basically to tell them what to do and where to move. Then you have your interneurons, which just facilitate communication between neurons, making sure they run smoothly. Okay, so in this module, we're going to be looking at the nervous system. I don't know if any of you have studied biology in high school, but you would have gone over some of these terms. So it's broken down into 2 major systems, the central nervous system and the peripheral nervous system. So your central nervous system contains your spinal cord and your brain. As you see in the top right hand corner there, the brain on the top with the spinal cord, that is the central nervous system. And messages get passed up and down the spinal cord. Then we have your peripheral nervous system, which is your somatic and autonomic nervous system, which is, it controls your voluntary movements and your involuntary movements.
Okay. We just have some questions on the Q&A. Sorry. Someone sent some questions on the Q&A tab. We cannot see you because you aren't part of the cohort group, but you will be able to hear us. So just continue to send your questions through and we'll be able to answer them from there. So in order for us to be able to see you, you will have to be part of the cohort group that is logged in and not logged in individually. But you will be able to hear us and we are able to get your questions and from there we can answer you. Sorry about that.
Okay. Okay, I'll continue. So we've just spoke about central nervous system, which contains the brain and the spinal cord, and the peripheral nervous system, which is your voluntary, controls voluntary movements and involuntary movements. Your voluntary movements will be you moving your arm and moving your leg. Involuntary would be like your heartbeat, rapid heartbeat, those kind of movements. Okay, the 4 lobes of the brain, they all have different roles, and I'll just read it out to you. Do you wanna take a look?
Okay. You've got the frontal lobe, which is the purple patch that you see right in front. The parietal lobe, your occipital lobe, your cerebellum, which is that small pink part right at the bottom, and then the brain stem, which is just in front of that. And then sort of the middle part of your brain is your temporal lobe, and each of this have different functions, and without one of these lobes, your brain can't function as it should. So we'll just go into the functions of each lobe, of each part now. The 4 lobes of the brain. Okay, so the frontal lobe, the main part of the brain, it organizes your personality and your behavior. It helps you with organizing things. Your parietal lobe is, it affects, sorry, not affects, but it has to do with your ability to read and write and understand and spatial relationships. So that lets you know how far to stretch your hand out if you want to grab the pen on the desk or something. Hand-eye coordination comes from there as well. Your occipital lobe, am I pronouncing it right?
Yeah, occipital.
Occipital lobe is to do with your sight and your seeing. That is simple enough. Temporal lobe controls memory and speech. Just on a, by the way, note the limbic system, in which lobe is that in? Do you know?
Not too sure at the moment.
Okay, that's fine. We'll get back to that on another time.
Okay, so like Ramon said, when one of these lobes are damaged, like often if a frontal lobe is damaged, it can affect how we function. So let me just go on and, okay. After being in an accident, Desmond damages his parietal and occipital lobe. So the occipital lobe, as we said, was seated at the back, like you see on this picture here, at the back. And the parietal is just on top of that. So when being in an accident and knocking one of those lobes and damaging them, difficulty will occur in one of those lobes. So we'll just go through it. Damage to the parietal lobe. Individuals suffer with difficulty in reading and recognizing people and objects. Often you see accidents where a part of the brain is injured and people can't make out who they're looking at, or they can't differentiate between different objects. So then that will be because that part of the lobe has been damaged.
The occipital lobe. If the person has damaged that, then there will obviously be damage in the person's vision or sight, which can result in partial or complete blindness.
Okay, so that is okay. Okay, so that is the end of the slide. Today is just a welcome tutorial, so we're not going to do too much today. But you guys, are you aware that you have an assignment on the 7th of August? Due the 7th of August. Is everyone aware of that? Okay, you got it, 7th of August. Would you like me to go through the assignment a little bit? Okay. Let's just get the assignment out. Where's my page? Okay. So assignment 1 is a research paper. First of all, do you know what a research paper is? Exactly. What does it entail? Okay. Basically, a research paper, you're not giving your own opinion. You must stay clear from giving your own opinion and actually look at what the other authors have said. So you will maybe, if you find something that Freud said or something that another author said, you will combine their different views and put them in your paper. So Ramon said one thing and I said one thing. What are they saying and how does it differ? That is basically what your research paper is. So you're not giving your own personal opinion. Just refrain from saying, I think this, or in my opinion. So you're just writing subjectively. Subjectively, yeah. Okay, so let me read through your assignment. Write an assignment on intelligence. What is intelligence? What determines intelligence? Hereditary and environmental factors. How can it be measured fairly? Is it a valid measure of a person's ability? and then use at least 4 references. One can be your prescribed reading. Okay, so I'm going to break it down for you. What is intelligence? You will have to look that up and see what different authors say. What determines intelligence? So they say in brackets hereditary. That means basically, does it run in families? Is it a genetic cause? Is it because my father was intelligent? Does that mean I'm also going to be intelligent? That is what hereditary means. Did you guys get that? You got that? Okay. Then environmental factors. That is basically the people around you. Do the people around you affect your intelligence? Maybe your friends or your family. Your family in the sense of maybe they're not your blood relatives. You could be adopted, but then does that family actually impact your intelligence, or is it just your genes that affect it? But you can actually go on Google and type in these terms and they will be able to explain to you what it actually means if you're still struggling. Okay, can I move on to the next one? Any questions so far? Okay. How can it be measured fairly? Okay, there are many tests psychologists use to measure intelligence. So you need to go and research what these tests are. Psychologists, yeah, so I'm not going to tell you any of the tests. You just go and research and you'll find out that there are different tests that measure your intelligence. And that won't be hard to find. Okay, can I move on? Is it a valid measure of a person's ability? So do these tests truly measure someone's intelligence? Do these tests effectively measure a person's intelligence, and are the tests valid? So do you want to kind of explain that one? Do they measure it fairly, someone's intelligence? Can a test really measure your intelligence?
Okay, so basically what they're asking is, can intelligence be objectively measured, and does what the test reflect my intelligence is that an accurate description of what I'll be able to do? So the test said that I am, let's say, not intelligent in construction or whatever it is that an accurate and a fair description of the fact that I won't be able to succeed in construction work? This you will find out by doing research on intelligence and the various research that has been done in the literature that's been produced on the various tests that have been devised. So is it objective or is it subjective? That's a bit of a hint that we're giving you there, which is really alluding to the answer. And then at least 4 references. One of them your prescribed reading, so that's the prescribed reading for this module. I think it's your Introduction to Psychology textbook. And then 3 other references that you can use. Please be careful to not use Wikipedia as a reference. It's not a proper online reference. Hey?
About psychology as well.
What's that?
That's psych, they won't use that either.
Okay, and apparently the site About Psychology, don't use that either. We can tell you off the record that you're allowed to read up there just to get a general overview of what it is that you're trying to figure out and whatever, but they aren't proper academic journals. So please don't reference them, because 10 out of the 24 marks in your actual essay, in your actual paper, goes to grammar style and references. So if you give us incorrect references, you will be marked down. What we are looking for is textbooks, online journals, published articles, accredited academic resources for you to reference. Most of them can be found on Google Scholar or at your library or your actual textbook.
Also, if you look on Funder, there's actually a tab that says EBSCO host. There you also find many journal articles. So if you go onto Funder on your, it's just on the actual subject there. You click into Intro to Psych. And then on the left-hand side, you will see it says JSTOR. And also under that, it says EBSCO host. So you go to EBSCO and you type in your topic, and a few journals will come up on the topic. So that's also what many students have used is EBSCO host. Yeah, your lecturer has just told me that she wants you to use, you don't just use 4 journal articles. You must use also maybe at least put a book in there. It must be like half and half. You must balance it out. So you don't use all journal articles, maybe just 2 books and 2 journal articles, or, you know, so that it's not all from the same.
Also, I see there's a question that someone posted. If I have the book Psychology, the Science of the Mind and Behavior, can I do my research from that? That's a textbook, right?
Yes, I can use it.
Yes, you can.
Yes, you're welcome to use that one. Let's see, anything else?
Okay, so your paper is supposed to be 1,200 words. Let's say 1,100 minimum, 1,500 maximum. But if you're gonna go over the word count, make sure that you're giving us good information and that you're not rambling. If you're gonna be under the word count, make sure that what you are saying is detailed enough for us to be able to give you the marks that you need. It counts 25% of your final mark, which is quite a heavy weighting, so you might wanna, take that a bit seriously. And then it's due the 7th of August. And before we go into the marking guide, please consult your academic guidelines. It's on Funda.
Communications. Okay,
And the communications tab is this exact document.
Yes, exact document.
It looks like this. You'll be able to see it on your communications tab, Cornerstone Academic Guidelines 2014. Basically what that is it helps you with your grammar and your style and your referencing and just the layout of what your assignment must look like. Because last semester we had quite a few funny things happening and not proper referencing, and we were lenient with it because we understood that you just started. But I think we're going to be a bit more strict now, and you actually will get marked down where that is concerned.
Okay. Do you guys have this? Do you have the academic guidelines already?
Should be on Funda.
Okay. Oh, you do have it. Okay, because it actually tells you exactly how to reference and everything to do. But if you still have some questions, then please email. Feel free to email me or Ramon. Last semester I didn't get that many emails, and I'm always willing to help. If you're really struggling, you could send me a draft of what you have so far, and I can just look over it. But this is not if you just down and out and you're really struggling. Please email me your stuff. Okay, it's easy. Are there any questions from you guys? Let's see. Are there any questions from Destiny Lab? Q&A. Let's check. Okay. Okay. I'll give you guys about 2 minutes just for any questions to type on the side. We'll give you 2 minutes. Whether you guys are watching from YouTube or whether it's live. Let's see. Anything I missed? Okay. Okay, so if there's no questions, Ramon is just going to do the marking guide with you quickly.
Okay, so the marking guide of the assignment, it basically lets you know, it tells you what your assignment is weighted into and how it's divided. So your assignment's out of 25 marks. There's going to be 3 main sections that we're going to be looking at. 2 of them are 10 marks each. 1 of them is 5, each adding up to 25 together. So the first 10 marks, and let the weighting of the assignment sort of give you an idea on how much of your assignment to focus on this particular aspect, if that makes sense. So 10 out of the 25 marks will be attributed to your knowledge and understanding of the subject matter. So your actual, you giving us an understanding of what intelligence is, basically answering the questions that we pose to you. you telling us what that's about, so we can see, okay, this person does understand what intelligent is. The person understands what the scales measure. The person understands whether it's objective or subjective, or how intelligence is actually measured with the test and whether it's valid or not valid. You understand what it is that you're speaking about. So 10 of those marks will be attributed to that. 5 of the 10, of the 25, sorry, will be attributed to your analysis, synthesis, evaluation, critical thinking, and creativity. Basically, what that is how you put it together, how you word your assignment, how you lay it out, how you synthesize it, synthesizing meaning, putting it together and analyzing the information that you got. The 4 articles that you get, the 4 references that you can have, how you've analyzed that, how you've drawn out what is important, and how you've placed it into your research paper. Basically, that's what that means. And then the other 10 marks, which is almost half your assignment, goes to grammar, style, and referencing. So that's why it's very important that you make sure that you get that right. Before you submit your assignment, have someone to read over it, because sometimes you make little mistakes, grammatical mistakes, spelling errors, not because you are negligent or whatever, but you overlooked it. Sometimes you're typing in a hurry, you may make 1 or 2 errors that you don't see, but someone else from an outside perspective that reads it will be able to pick up, so that you can just work on that, because 10 of the 25 marks does go to grammar, the style, the way you put your essay together, and then finally your references, in-text referencing, as well as your referencing at the end of your assignment. Please make sure that you consult the academic guidelines where that's concerned. And like Celeste said, you're welcome to email us a draft so we can look at it and then email it back to you before the due date. But make sure that you don't send us the draft the day before the time. Yeah. It will at least be 4 or 5 days, so that you give yourself enough time to do the necessary editing that might be needed.
Okay. Are there any questions on the assignment? Any more questions that you guys might have? Okay.
No questions.
Okay, so you guys are good for the assignment? Okay.
Yeah, if you need any further help, you have our email addresses. You're more than welcome to use them at any time that you feel is needed.
I hope you guys enjoy the module. It's very interesting. I don't know if you guys did biology in matric or grade 11, but it's very interesting to see how the brain affects our behaviors and stuff. So it's going to be good. It's going to be fun. And we will help you along the way with any of your questions. Okay. Thank you so much, guys. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Okay.
7th of August, and that's when your assignment is due as well.
So I'll be waiting for any questions from my email from you guys.
Awesome.
Okay.
Have a good day.
Okay, bye guys.
Bye-bye.